Hey guys, Joel Robinson here, and we're back with our 4th of July fireworks show preparations, part 2. The first thing we did was go back and look at our script, make sure that those peonies actually were timed correctly. I made some micro adjustments and erred on the side of caution, so that way they do not end too late. We also substituted in those multicolored go-getters for those Tourbillons with purple go-getters that we were short on. I added in another 6 comets, and I actually found, I totally forgot about, a case of no debris comets and mines, and in that case was a brocade mine. So I found that last brocade mine I needed. Now, those were slightly different. There's 40 millimeters versus 50 millimeters. However, I really don't think that's going to make a difference for our purposes. Okay, so all the fireworks around me, as well as more on the floor, are going to be used in our show, and we need to start getting these cakes ready. So there's a couple things we're going to do. Number one, we're going to cut an area open around the fuse. Some of the Proline cakes have E-match ports already installed. Some of the other cakes do not. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow the fuse, cut an opening here, and then we're going to use a brass awl, which is a non-sparking tool, to create a hole directly into the lift charge. Now this process I always recommend to people do not do unless you have been shown or seen someone professionally do this before. This is a delicate process. I don't want anyone to accidentally hurt themselves. So we're going to start with that. Hopefully we have enough time. We're going to start labeling all of our fireworks, go through and sort it all by positions, and see where we're at the end of the night. Let's get to it. Okay, if you're doing a normal consumer firework, you just cut the material out around the fuse. I normally follow the fuse all the way down to the base of the tube using that non-sparking brass awl. I poke a hole directly beside the fuse, that hole being large enough to insert our electric match or MJG. In this case, we'll be using MJGs. Again, I'm just poking the holes today. I will actually put a piece of tape over that, cover it back up. When we're on shoot side, I'll put the match inside. All right, so if we were doing a Proline item, you would look for the E-port, normally shown by some type of sticker like this. And then behind that port, you will find an electric port, right? This is one of the older ones. Some of the newer ones are much nicer. If I find one, I will show you. However, it just makes our job a little bit easier because I don't actually have to poke. Just expose that, pop. Some of the other cakes that they have actually have like little quick match headers or leaders, so you can just connect your match directly to that. Anyway, I want to note this because it just makes it so much easier. I honestly wish all consumer fireworks had that. I understand why they don't. I personally would just really enjoy it. Okay, so we have 2 of the Last Stand, 2 of the Wheel of Combustion in our show this year. All 4 of these cakes are Nishiki cakes. They're all going at the exact same time. Now, why am I mentioning this? Well, I was at an event recently where I bought this cake, and I was there with 319 Pyros, and he alerted me to the fact that this is actually made by Raccoon. So the description on both of these fireworks physically on the graphic is identical. I was watching the product demonstration. Literally, it was the same demo, just with a different graphic overlaid on the video. So this is what we call a rewrap, where Raccoon Factory is making this firework for Pyro's Pride. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to mention it because some people don't know that exists. There's another form of rewrapping where the Last Stand, maybe this graphic, this name doesn't sell very well. So they might put a new name on it, new graphic on it, and sell it to something new next year. That's another form of rewrapping. However, I'm mentioning this because sometimes you might see some of these fireworks that are actually made by some of the brands that we know and love, and I wanted to mention it to you guys. Let's continue on. Alright, so this is a new one. We got the Silver Flying Fish here. Didn't see a label for the E-match port. Just cut in around the fuse, and there's this block here I hadn't seen before. I was kind of hoping it would just pop out and you could put the E-match in, but I didn't see a spot noted for an E-match. So, we're going to have to poke right here somewhere in here maybe, to get in there. A little disappointed. Okay, so why are we even going through all this trouble of bypassing the fuse and going into the lift charge? Well, since we are doing our show to music, we need very precise timing in order to hit the beats of the music. So the variance of the fuse is just not good for scripting. So by bypassing that fuse, we have instant ignition. So when we want something to fire, it lights this first shot in every single firework. So we have better timing overall. That is the primary reason we are doing this. Alright guys, we finished 70 cakes. Just to recap, we cut an opening here, poked a hole right beside the fuse. In this case, we were able to remove the fuse and then put a piece of tape over where that hole is. So then we're ready for E-match. You can kind of see the hole there. We'll be able to poke right into that. Again, much easier to install electric match on site. Alright, so we did 70 cakes today. That's all of the cakes in the show. A nice mix of 500 and 200 gram cakes. Tomorrow, hopefully we can start putting labels, assigning positions, and maybe working with our ground effects. So stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you tomorrow.